Boom, boom. This is Ken. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. All right, so we got a little bit of Soul Land Reloaded up today. So we got some new events that we're going to take a look at, and the continuation of some events. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. All right, so we do have the Awakening event up. Okay, it's been going on for a couple of days now. Make sure that you do get everything inside of here that you want to. There's a lot of good stuff in here. If you do the chest, you can get some deep sea. Deep sea server that we're always looking for to help with your awakening items. So always want to get all of that anytime that there's an awakening event. That and the tickets, of course. That's the main thing that you want to get from this, because this will allow you to make purchases for the weapon so that you can awaken the equipment, which is very important. It gives you a lot of BP. That's one of the quickest ways to get BP. So what are we doing? Well, I've been getting a lot of information concerning Sea God Tang San. Apparently he's exceedingly powerful, so definitely something that you want to consider as possibly one that you want to bring into your team, especially if you're a new player. So I hope everybody was able to get the 90 shards from the previous event. That ended a couple of days ago. So we should be having another event probably sometime the end of next week. We'll be able to get some more of the shards. But that's out of the thing. So we've got the Awakening event up. So make sure that you do everything in this. Get the tickets. Make sure you can get some the deep sea service so you can do for your Awakening. Time limited group buy. This is going to be up. It's still going to be up for another 4 days. Make sure that you get everything in there, especially this right here. You do not get SS plus shards, chances to get SS plus shards very often. SS plus is the most powerful equipment. Hidden weapon, divine tool. So you definitely want to do this. So make sure that you get this. As you can see, I only need 29 more shards. So we'll just say 30. So I'll be able to get in 3 days, because you can get 10 each day. You can buy 2 of them. So I'll be able to actually bring up my Eye of Terror another star. I'll be able to upgrade it. So definitely want to do that. Exceedingly powerful. I'm already using it, but it has a lot of good benefits that make it one of the best out there. So definitely focus on those shards. Another thing that you might want to focus on out of here is the actual source. This is exceedingly good. This is another item like the deep sea circuits that they've sort of, I don't know, they've sort of stopped giving it as often as they used to. They used to give the deep sea sunken silver, and they used to give all this, they used to give it a lot of that stuff very often. They've sort of switched away from that. It's because they're introducing more items. I mean, you've got, they've got the soul bones, for instance. Now you have to get the spirit source. Okay, the essence for the actual herbs is out now. So bringing out all of these new materials and new items, and they've sort of had to, because there's more items, they can't offer them as often as they would normally like to. So to offset that, so whenever you can get this is really good, and you can get a bunch of these. You can get 60 of these each day, and it's definitely going to be needed if you're, it's a good BP source. Okay. I always try to get mine up to at least 3 or 4 as fast as I can, and that's because the talents that it offers are exceedingly good. I mean, large BP increases, large attack increases. So this is one way that you can get a lot of good benefit, especially towards your BP. So keep that in mind. I'm saving up my silver right now so that I can use it on. I'll probably end up using it on Tang San, who's coming out next, the Sea God Tang San, because I'm hearing that he's just a beast. If you look at his skill set, you can probably infer that. But I've got 142, so I'll be able to get real close. But of course, the main thing is always the 3 weapons that you need, which means you need 16,500 tickets to purchase the weapon 3 times, because the final awakening step requires that you use 3 of the weapons. So you'll need 3 of these weapons, and they are at 5,500 a pop. So 16,500 tickets is what you're going to need. So got to save up for that. So that's what I'm saving up for. I probably have the tickets. Uh, might have the tickets, depending on how often they have. Anytime they don't have the tickets inside of the type time limit. Unfortunately, or I'd be purchasing them. But they do have them inside of the Awakening event in several locations. Inside of the actual chest, if you start opening more than that, uh, 15 times, which is basically 150, you can start getting 1,000 a pop. So you can get them from in there. There's also inside of the actual, where's the actual exchange at? You could use them here. I've actually purchased the silver with that, but you could use them right here if you want to get 90 that way. Okay. One thing you can do is you can purchase the actually Awakening chest keys here if you're coming up short. Okay, so that's one way that you can get them from there. Now we also have Ronglong's tee up. Nothing new about that. It's the same thing that we've been using for good. The anime related event is going on. This is fun. I mean, you just basically walk through, make sure you get 100 points as you're going through each map as you clear, and you can get all the rewards. As you can see, you get a bunch of stuff from this. Diamonds are in here as well as tokens, so you can get some good stuff in here. I'm about halfway through it, I would say. 35%, I guess, is what it's probably going to continue onward. Got about 16 collected, so you can start to get up into here. That's going to be nice. It's going to be actually 60 shard, which is pretty nice. But the problem, this is only an S, so I wish they would have had an SS skin in there, but it is what it is. They make a lot of their money off the skins, so not something they offered as a reward, even though it's going to take a while to complete. You only get 200 stamina at a time. You can purchase more stamina, but there is no, there really isn't a time frame for this. I guess it's gonna go until you complete it. Once you complete it, it'll clear, would be my assumption. So they're going to give you plenty of time, so it's not like something that you have to rush to do. And considering all the stuff in the time limiter group buy, that's why I'm keeping my diamonds where they're at, because tomorrow I'll be spending probably another 5,000 or 6,000 diamonds, and I'll be spending close to that on a daily basis for the next 4 days, because this one's in the 14th. It's only the 10th, so that's why. So I'm not going to have a lot of diamonds by the time this event's over. Probably be around 5. I'm not going to drop below 5, but you want to have 5, so that when an event pops up, you make sure that you have enough to purchase the shards, which is what you got the Cosmo Protector. Again, this is something that you want to make sure that you have shards. You see, you need to be able to purchase these when they pop up. This is 15 shards for an SS plus weapon, so you need to make sure that you have enough to cover it. So keep between 3,000 to 5,000 shards on hand at all times. Okay, because you never know. And right here, I purchased this as well too. See, this is why you need to have, because when they do these events, yes, you might not get the shards to complete a weapon, but you might be able to get shards for something else, which is what I did. So you definitely want to purchase this, because you can use this on any one of whichever one you're focusing on. I'm focusing on the Eye of Terror at the moment, but if you want to focus on something else, of course you can. This right here gives us 75 to 90. So the next event that they have for this, they'll give us another 15 shards, as you can see, and we'll be able to make the weapon. But it's it's good whenever they do sum up. So you want to keep an eye on it as best as you can. So I like the actual, I like the Eye of Terror. It's a really good weapon. As you can see, I've already got it at 3 stars, so I'll be able to bring it up to 4 stars. 5 stars is the max, of course. So that's what you need to do. You need to focus on one at a time. And after I finish, this, I'll start focusing on one of the others. I'll pull one out. Depends on which, depends on what I'm looking for, and we'll go from there. It's generally what they're going to offer. Okay, that's pretty much what you have to do in the end when it comes right down to it, is just focus on whichever one they offer. Right now they're offering our Tarot Shards. I assume they'll switch over probably to one of these others based on their mentions. I think the Crimson Sky was next, and then the Sword of Judgment. Then they had the will come out, and then of course they've got the Cosmo Protector down here. So you want to make sure. And as for this, I'm just maxing them out as I go through them. So I've pretty much got a good weapon on pretty much my entire team. But some of these really aren't ready for prime time right yet. Okay. So really this one's the only one that's really, these aren't, but you know, at the same time, uh, you got to use them on something. So I've got, everybody's got one. It helps the VP for the support team. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Also, some of them are really tailored for the character. If they're really tailored for the character, you go ahead and put it on, and you'll see an increase. But you know, it takes time. The SS pluses. I assume they're probably going to come out with triple S equipment. Would be my assumption. Since they're coming out with triple S characters here, we're going to have Tang San, as everybody knows, that's going to come out. And then after Tang San, there's going to be an SS plus Wu. Which is nice because we haven't seen anything from Wu for quite some time. And that's the last SS Plus. From then on, they're going to be switching to the SSS characters. So apparently, the information we're getting is it's going to be identical to the SS Pluses. It'll be using shards. I assume there'll be an increase, of course, in the number of shards required to do the upgrades. But that's logical. There was an increase in the SS to the SS Plus. So I assume there'll be an increase on the triple S. Hopefully the dynamic won't be changed too much. And hopefully we'll be able to obtain them at the same speed, which we can get the SS Plus, which is in the space of roughly 6 to 7 weeks. During the events, you can easily obtain the SS Plus as long as you participate in all three. Okay, so yeah, as you know, make sure you watch my last video where I talked about text. I explained it, you know, exactly how you'll be able to get the character free to play, and it takes about 6 to 8 weeks because they have every 2 weeks they have a mini event for the character. And as long as you participate, you should be able to actually get it. There shouldn't be any problem with that. But yeah, so I'm already in the process of saving up my shards, so that when Tank Sand does come out, I'll be able to get, you know, I've still got a ways to go because I spent all of them on Wrong, which you should. Wrong is exceedingly powerful. My survivability has rocked off the scales. Don't die in any of the major events right now. I've made it to level 5 inside of the Tyrant. Okay, so I couldn't get past. You know, I hit 3 once I think previously before I was out of it. Now I'm in 5 consistently. Okay, I've also got timing down and whatnot. You got to go into different positions on different screens because the screen changes. I mean, you attack it, then it switches to a screen where it's just having a laser across the screen, so you need to dodge the laser. And then after that, for like 5 seconds, it switches to having 3 voids open on the back end, and then they come all the way across the screen. So you need to switch to the other side of the screen. So you're moving back and forth. Then the next one after that is they have these little, I don't know, they're sort of like birds or vultures or something. They start flying across the screen to get you as well. Then after that, it jumps back to the first screen again, and you're doing that. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm hitting it a second time. So I've made it through 5 levels. So it's pretty fun, and you get the rewards really well, and it's very interesting. Keeps you on your toes. It's not something you can auto. You will die. You will die at the beginning of the second phase if you auto. You have to move. Okay, the beam comes out wherever you're at, so you have to actually move, and you have to move all of your characters. Basically, run one up, then run them back down, run them back down, run them back down. So basically, what you're trying to do is just zip through the beam, okay? Because you can't let the beam set on you, because if you do, you're going to get zapped. So it takes your health really quick. And then after that, yeah, one of the ways is you can run towards the back top side of it because it can't hit you there. The only bad thing about doing that is the next phase has three voids appearing directly behind him. So you're right in front of the voids when they appear, and they just come right out onto you, and that can kill you as well. So running behind does not function very well. It's best to just stay on the far side and just run through the beam real quick, so it's only hitting you for a little bit of damage. And then when it switches to that third, you're on the other side of the screen, so it's not exceedingly uh, important that you actually attack the creature. The problem is if you're melee, you have to run. They have to run to the character, the tyrant, to actually do damage. So they end up getting killed fairly quickly once they do that. But your ranged attackers, and that's that. Yeah, most of the ones. When we come out on the fifth, usually all of my ranged attackers, as well as Wrong, are alive. So I usually have two or three that are alive. So it helps out. It helps out quite a bit to have ranged attackers. So that's something that you might want to focus on whenever you're focused specifically on, of course, the tyrant. It doesn't matter on the tree and all those others. You can use whatever you want on those. But yeah, so that's the best way to do it in terms of the tyrant. So yeah, Wrong's definitely a capable healer, more so than Ayen. Yeah, survivability is increased immensely, and she has a really good skill set that's designed for support, protection, and healing. So that's what makes her a little bit better. So yeah, definitely someone that you want to go for, and we'll be able to use her for quite some time. The first two SSS characters are going to be magic DPS and physical DPS, so we're not going to get another healer for quite some time. So you should, the only SS plus healer right now is her, and I would seriously consider going for her simply because of the fact that, based on what we're seeing, Ling is actually the healer here. I'll throw up the list for you here. Give me 1 second, and we can take a look at it. Ling is the healer, but as you can see, we've still got Texan, who will be coming out probably 4 or 5 weeks. We'll have him. Then it's going to be another 8 weeks while we gather up Wu. And then now I'm not sure what the spacing is going to be or the events are going to be for the triple S's. If they keep it on the same, you're still looking at 8 weeks. So we're still looking at several months before Ling is going to come out, and she might, from what I'm understanding, she's more of a straight healer. Wrong's not she's just Long heals, but she also has a ton of support as well as protection. So, which is why she does keeps you alive a lot longer than Ayen was. But we'll have to see. So, Ling might not. She's got to be a triple S, so she's going to have a higher base stats. But we don't know how the dynamic's going to change. They've done a really good job on this game of keeping the dynamic so that first generation characters aren't too far off of what the newer characters are. A little bit, that's one of the things some of the other games get guilty of is they start introducing new characters. They too far outpace first generation characters, meaning you have to redesign your entire team to keep up. Waste of time. They've done a really good job of keeping SS and SS. The SS plus are of course better, as they should be, higher base stats, but they haven't made the skills so super out of whack that it's just like ridiculous that keeping an SS in your team that's fully maxed out is going to be better than an SS plus that's only like halfway. So let's say like a 3 moon SS plus is not going to override a 5 sun SS because it's higher ranking, higher enhancements. So yeah, you're not going to see that much of a difference. Now, when you get them both even, if they're both at 5 sun, yeah, the SS plus is definitely going to outpace the SS, as it should. And it's the same thing that's going to happen on the SSSs. When you get to 5 sun, they're going to outpace an SS plus, but not by a whole bunch. So you'll still be able to have fun playing the game and still be competitive without having to worry about, going all whack to try to get SS characters, SSSS characters, 3 S's. Getting these SS, it's going to be saying S's all the time. But we'll have to see. We'll make that determination. But that's still at least 12 to 13, 14 weeks away before the first we'll get our first introduction to a triple S, and we'll see how. But from what I'm hearing, Siga Tang San, that's our next character, is exceedingly powerful. If you read his skill set, you can see that he has, even from the from reading the skill set, it sounds like he's going to do a ton of damage, and that's what I'm hearing from the people who actually have them. Several subscribers actually play on the Forge, and they have the characters, and some of the ones that actually spent money to get Siga Tang San on the first thing, because you can spend money and get these characters. Said that super OP, does a lot of damage very fast, and that yeah, you'll see your damage increase dramatically using him. So we're definitely going to save up for him. Okay, probably going to pick him over Wu. I'm not going to have enough time to focus on both, but in my current situation, I like where I'm at with the current team. Hopefully we'll be able to put Tang San in there as well. I have not. That's one of the reasons I decided to hold off on fully awakening BB Dong, even though BB Dong is my favorite character. I decided not to spend and fully awaken everything on her, because she might be replaced pretty quickly with Tang San after I started hearing word. Because he was just released a few days ago, so so he was. They noticed that he was exceedingly overpowered on the China server, but nobody. Sometimes things don't equate over here in global, which is what we were on. But now the people on global saying, yeah, he's just as powerful in global as well too. So that just that made me hold off. So right now I'm just holding on to my, as I said, I'm holding on to my silver, and we'll use this on Siga Tang San. He'll probably be the one we take up, and that'll keep my team in good for the next And then of course after once Wu's released, 8 weeks after that, we'll see our first SSS, and then we'll have to make a decision as to what we're going to do from there, of course. But you get shards. Shards are easy to obtain. I mean, just a day after we got wrong. It's what, 2 days after we got wrong, or 3 days after we got wrong. We're already, we've already, I've already got 1,100 shards saved up, and I've got a ton of shards saved up inside of the actual base inside of here. Okay, so you can see I could already upgrade some of my other characters. I can upgrade him to a 4 Sun if I wanted to. So that should let you know how many shards I actually have inside of my upgrade thing here. And I'm not going to upgrade anybody. Those shards will remain in there. And so I'll probably have enough to take Tang San up to probably maybe 1 Sun or so, just from the shards I'll have inside of the upgrade pool. And then after that, we'll have to dip into things. So I'm hoping to get about 4,000. If I can get 4,000 shards inside of here within that time, and I should be able to, okay, then we'll be able to actually come really, really close to completing Tang San almost immediately. I've already started on the mats. I actually started on the mats some time ago. But with Wrong, I get about halfway through Wrong's event. I had enough mats to complete her up to 3. She's at 3 right now. In case you're looking here, she's fully enhanced and maxed at 3. I already had those mats like within 3 or 4 weeks of the event. So I immediately switched over to, because I knew that the next characters were going to be Tang San. I knew they were going to be Wu. I knew they were going to be the triple S die. So I knew that at least in the near future, at least for the next 3 or 4 months, we're only going to be getting attackers. So I switched to attack, and that's what I've been focusing on right now, is making sure I have the rings for attackers, so that when the time comes, it'll be pretty easy to, within a day or two after getting the character, I'll be able to actually get it up to at least 2. I want to get it up at least 2, +2, red +2 is what I want to do. I feel comfortable at red +2. But as you can see, I've got Wrong at +3. BB Dong's at 3, Rin's at 3, and Clear Sky, they're all at +3. So that's what I want to be able to do with the new Siga Tang San when it gets introduced. It's taking him up to at least 2 or 3 exceedingly quick. so that I can start analyzing. But from what I'm hearing, it's the kit. If you, I read the kit on the last event, last video. You should take a look at that. But man, just exceedingly strong. 12,000% of his attack bursts. I mean, yeah, you don't need to be, you don't need to do the math on that. When you get 12,000%, that's going to be a serious damage. The one person I was talking to said that he was killing people at twice his BP. Uh, he'd go up against a team that had nearly twice the BP, and he was able to compete and beat in some cases. So once he puts Tank Sand into his lineup, so that should be telling you what you're going to be facing. Definitely going to be super powerful. So he's definitely something that we might want to consider doing our full awakening on. I mean, he is the protagonist, so he should be a little bit powerful than everybody else. It's just the way it goes. So I have to see, but that's where we're at. So, all right, so yeah, get in there. Make sure you get all the stuff for the Cosmo Protector. Make sure the time limited events that you do everything for the awakening, and of course, keep an eye on the Quixie Festival. There's some good resources in here. I've already been purchasing what I need to actually start upgrading items. So definitely something that you want to focus on. So we will have another video here in a day or two. And we'll talk about, the next events that come up. And we'll also hopefully have a little bit more information on Tang San, the Sea God version, to see, how important he's going to be. Probably going to be the next level of character. It's from what it's sounding like. So we'll have to see how much that changes the dynamic. All right, so thanks a lot for watching. Remember to like and share the video, as it does help the channel immensely. Kim here, coming at you from the corner, signing out.